Hey, welcome to Advanced Accounting. This is Advanced Accounting at Seton Hall University, and this is an all online course. And the various numbers for this course is either BACC4113 or BACC7128, and there are various suffixes. Because this is a summer class, there are several different versions of the class being taught at the same time. I'm giving one review of the syllabus, but there are different classes. These actually, there's an undergraduate and a graduate version of the class with different numbers, and again, different various codes that the university assigns. But the basic course is entirely the same. There's just a few details that are going to be different. So this is an all online class, and you don't need to be anywhere at any particular time. You don't have to be online at any particular time, but you do need to follow the schedule. My name is Mark Holtzman. I'm going to be your instructor, and my office hours are by appointment. My office is in room 613 Jubilee Hall if you want to come see me. And this is my phone number in my office, which is not, I'm often not there, so it's not a good idea to use that number. My cell phone number is on the syllabus that's on the website. So if you want to give me a call, you can call my cell phone, and you should feel free to call it if I'm busy or I'm doing something else. I'm just not going to answer it. So don't feel bad about interrupting something. I do turn it off at night, or there's some do not disturb mode. Please don't abuse it, obviously, and don't call me every day. But you can call me every few days if you have questions. My email is here. I usually reply to email the same day or the next day, so generally within 24 hours. And my secretary, her name is Denisha Thomas, and this is her phone number and her email if you want to have her try to reach me. What we're going to be using this book, Christensen, Cottrell, and Budd, Advanced Financial Accounting, the 12th edition with Connect. And Connect is an online website that has content on it, and a lot of the work we're going to do in the class is actually in Connect. I found that the most affordable way to purchase access to the textbook is through Blackboard. Now, there may be cheaper ways to do it, but if you buy the book, if you rent the book itself and it doesn't have the code for Connect, then you're going to need to pay for the code, which I think is something like $130. But if you just buy the code and you have access to Connect, it includes an ebook, and it gives you an option to buy a loose leaf book version of the textbook, which I think is between $70 and $80. I'm never quite sure what the numbers are. So you can buy the website access with an ebook for $130, and then for an additional $70 or so, you can buy a loose leaf, which they're going to mail to your house. And that's usually the cheapest way to access this is going to be to click on the first assignment link, and then it will ask you to sign up. There's a free trial period for something like the first 14 days. I say something like because I'm never 100% sure. Sometimes they change it, but it's something like 14 or 15 days, and then they're going to ask you to pay for it in order to keep access to it. I also recommend this book, Gleim Financial Accounting Exam Questions and Answers, and it's at gleim.com, and it's something like $35, and includes a thick book that you can use not only for this class, you can use it for other financial accounting classes, which you should have taken them all already, and you can also use it to study for the CPA exam. It's very helpful to study for this class, and in comparison to what most textbooks cost, it's not very much money. Now, the grading in this class is a little weird. I feel that there's much more in this class than 3 credits. So this is a 3-credit graduate undergraduate course, but I cover so much ground in this course, I really feel that it's more than a full course. So what I decided to do was to grade it on a 105-point scale. So there's a lot of assignments. Every chapter is going to have an assignment and a quiz. And then every few chapters, you're going to have what's called a module quiz. So each chapter has a chapter quiz. Then every few chapters, you're going to have a module quiz. So there is going to be 13 chapters and 5 module quizzes. And if you add up the total points for these, you get 105. But what I do is, because I feel that this is so much work, and I really have to cover all of this because it's all important in practice, it's important to know, and it's all in the CPA exam blueprints. So what I do is I grade this on a 100-point scale. What that means is that if you get 93.33 out of 105 points, you have an A. If you get a 90 out of 105 points, then you have an A minus, and so on and so forth. So that's how I grade the class. What some students are able to do is they do really well on the assignments and the chapter quizzes and the module quizzes the whole time, and they work really hard on the assignments to get hundreds on the assignments, which can be done with a lot of work. And then by the time they're all done, they've got so many points that they already got like 93 1/3 points, and then they have an A in the class without taking the 5th module quiz. Because the 5th module quiz is only 8 points. So if you get 100 on everything else, which is not somewhat hard to do, it's a lot of work, then you would have 97 points. That's an A, because anything above 93 1/3 is an A. So you have 97 points, you're guaranteed an A, and there's no point in doing the last module quiz. And I feel very comfortable because I have data showing that you did a tremendous amount of work in the class. So the assignments are computation problems in McGraw-Hill. They're all graded electronically. You can print them out. There are references to the textbook and ebook, so if you're not sure what to do, you click on the link and it takes you to the ebook. And there's something called hints. You can click on a hint, and there's no penalty for doing that. What the hint will do is it will show everything that's right in green and everything that's wrong in red. So then you could click the, it's called Check My Work. And you click on Check My Work, and everything that's right is green, and everything wrong is red. So then you fix all the things that are red, and then they're all right, and you get points for them. So you can keep clicking Check My Work over and over again until you get the entire assignment right. Once you hit Submit, you're done. But after you hit Submit, you can still do it over with what's called an additional attempt. You can do as many of those as you want, but they have a 10% penalty each. Okay, chapter quizzes. Every chapter has an assignment and a chapter quiz. These are going to be 10 multiple choice questions, and you have 30 minutes each. And you have 1 attempt for each question, and your score is available. It says here right after you complete it. I'm actually not 100% sure of that. I think it's available after the deadline. You can see your score after you complete it, but you can't see what you got wrong until an hour after the deadline. Now, with late completions, I would encourage you not to fall behind, ever, because we go really fast, and one chapter builds on the next. You can't really skip a chapter until you get to until after chapter 12. So you want to keep up with the course and not fall behind. Everything has to be completed by 11:55 on the due date. And if you need an extension for some reason, you need to please contact me. And what I will ask you to do is, you obviously need to have a somewhat good reason. And in the summer, I'm usually pretty understanding. So going on vacation for a week is actually a good reason in the summer, because that's what people do in the summer. If you're getting married, that's also good. But what I'm going to ask you to do, if you want an extension, I'm going to ask you to reschedule when you're going to hand this in and when you're going to hand in all the rest of the assignments, so I can see that you're on a schedule and you're realistically going to complete the class on time. That is my main concern. This course ends on August 8th, and everything needs to be done by August 8th. So sometimes if you miss a whole week of work, it may be almost impossible to finish the course by August 8th, and then I'm going to give you a really hard time. So all the work will be laid out in advance. You can actually do things in advance. So if you're going on vacation, you can get a week ahead, go on vacation, and then come back and not be behind. But if you do fall behind for some reason, even if you get sick, I'm going to ask you what dates you're going to hand the next few assignments in to make sure that you're completed on time. And you can do this via email if you like. Module quizzes consist of exercises and multiple choice questions, and they have to be completed in Connect using a system called Tegrity Remote Proctoring Software. And I'll send a little more information with instructions about how to do this before the first module quiz. Tegrity is similar to RP Now. I happen to think that it's a little better, and it will record you as you take the quiz, and you can and it will record what's on your screen. If you're not comfortable using Tegrity for some reason, then you need to email me. And one of the nice things about Tegrity is that I'm the only person who would have access to your video. But if you're not comfortable with the whole arrangement, or you don't want it on your computer or something like that, oftentimes I can give students flexibility, provided that they're willing to come to campus to take a paper quiz. So if you want to do that, just let me know. You'll have a 36-hour window to do this, starting 12 o'clock noon, the day before the due date, and ending at midnight. It says here attendance for all sessions is required. I guess I could really delete that because we aren't having any sessions. Everything's online. Office hours are by appointment only in the summer, but I reply to email usually within 24 hours on weekdays. If you email me on a Friday afternoon, I might not get back to you till Monday. So that's why my cell phone's also on the syllabus. Feel free to use it if you need to. Now, this class is going to be a lot of hours. Honestly, a lot of hours. You probably want to set aside at least 9 hours a week. It might take more. I've gotten feedback from students who spent 12 hours a week. There's a lot of work here, and there's not a lot of time, honestly. So I'm going to try to help you through it as best as I can, but you need to learn the material, and there are some shortcuts. I've tried to engineer the class to use as many shortcuts as possible, but the reality is that the class just takes a long time to do, and there's a lot of work. So the first set of assignments, chapters 1 and 2, are due on May 30th. You don't want to start this on May 29th because this is a lot of work. This is a week and a half worth of work. And then chapter 3 and the first module quiz are due June 6th. And we kind of follow that pattern. That one week we'll have 2 chapters. The next week we'll have a chapter and a module quiz. That's kind of the pattern that we're going to follow. So there's a lot of material due on each day. May 30th happens to be a Thursday night. Now, if Thursdays or Wednesday nights is not a comfortable night for you to do all of your work, all of this content is going to be posted early. I'm hoping to have the entire thing posted by like the middle of July. And I'll have content posted for several weeks in advance, so you can jump ahead of the rest of the class. So if you want to do work over the weekend for Thursday night, then you're welcome to do it. And if you finish chapter 2 by Thursday night, I don't know what day that is. Let me see here. It would be May 26th. Then that's great. And then the following weekend, you could do all the work, chapter 3, and the module quizzes, and so on. I try to post content as early as possible so that students can take it. The one thing is the module quiz needs to be taken within the 36-hour time frame. Even then, if you have a problem, it should only take 30 minutes, obviously, but if you have a problem where you wouldn't be able to do it during that time frame, you need to let me know, and I can give you flexibility. Now, I'm trying a new experiment. This is very experimental. Notice that chapter 11 there's only one thing due on June 27th, and that is chapter 11. Chapter 11 is like a double chapter. It's very challenging. But then notice that there's a whole week. There's 2 weeks between chapter 11 and chapter 12. There's a whole week gap in between these. So you really have 2 weeks to work on chapter 12 and module quiz 3. The reason why I did this is because Thursday, July 4th is Independence Day, and a lot of people go on vacation, and I would like to go on vacation too. And so I've made a decision that July 4th is, if you want it, is a vacation week. And we're going to be working very hard. I feel comfortable that you can take a week off if you want. If you want to work, you can get ahead and you could start working on chapter 12 and even 13 and 14. But if you're thinking about taking a vacation this summer, you can take it the week of July 4th, and there's nothing due that week, and it's should be nice out, and it's Independence Day, and you can eat your barbecue and do all the other things that you do. The course is going to run in this pattern right up until August 8th. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about consolidation of financial statements and how companies invest in each other. So we start off with, in the first 6 chapters, Parent-Subsidiary Relationships. And we have all sorts of different arrangements here where a parent might own 100% of a subsidiary, they might own 80% of a subsidiary, there might be goodwill, there might not be goodwill, and there may be something called write-ups and write-downs, and you're going to learn all about that. We're also going to learn about intercompany transactions, when a parent buys inventory for a sub, or a sub buys inventory from a parent. Then we're going to go into the intricacies of foreign currency accounting. And we're also going to go into translating foreign entity financial statements. In other words, what if the parent and the subsidiary use different currencies? How are you going to consolidate them? And so we're going to talk about that also. Then we're going to handle something called segment and interim reporting. That deals a lot with footnote disclosures, and I find that a lot of accounting classes neglect footnote disclosures, but they're very important, in particular the area in Chapter 13. There's something else to say about Chapters 13 through 19. They are very easy. Chapters 11 and 12, especially 11. 11 is probably the most difficult thing that I teach in any class. Honestly, 11 is very, very hard. 12 is also somewhat hard. I think a lot of students find it hard, but it is straightforward. 11 is not so straightforward at all. It's probably one of the most challenging areas in accounting. After Chapter 12, though, everything gets pretty easy. Segment and interim reporting is very simple. SEC reporting is also very simple. On Chapter 17, we're going to talk about governmental entities and their accounting and fund accounting. And we'll continue that with Chapter 18. And then in Chapter 19, we're going to go into not-for-profit accounting. We're not doing any appendices at all. So I'm looking forward to a great summer with you. I know this is not the most fun thing to do in summer, but students do enjoy this course. I like to teach it. I've been teaching it for, I think, 16 years. 15 or 16 years I've been teaching it. I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to working with you this summer. Please do feel free to introduce yourself. If you want, just pick up the phone and say hello. I like to get to know my students. If you want, come meet me in my office, and I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. Again, I'm Mark Holtzman, and let's have a great summer.